Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Ramadan Mubarak, and welcome to another episode of Rooted in Faith, where we navigate life intentionally, grounded in faith, inspired by culture, and strengthened by sisterhood. I'm your co-host, Teresa, and this is our last episode of the Ramadan series.
Yes, and I'm your co-host Awa, and like Teresa said, we're just gonna wrap up this series. We hope you guys have been enjoying it so far. I know the last episode we talked some more about emphasizing the Quran and your connection to that. When this month is over, we know it's hard to remain and instill the same habits, but we just want to be here to recommend and share what we would do every day post Ramadan or even before Ramadan.
I know with these last 10 days, I typically like to view it as that last stretch. We've gone through that high peak of starting off strong. Everybody knows it's Ramadan. We're doing our best. And then we get to the middle where it's like, all right, like I'm tired. My energy's draining. Motivation's draining a little bit. And then we have these last 10 nights again where we know it's like the most important and the night of powers in these last 10 nights. Everybody's going strong, going to Taraweeh. And so it's just, I think it's really important for us as a collective and as a ummah to really just get together and also just give good insights and tips on like actually why this is so important and like how it's really beneficial to us and how we can maximize on it as well.
Yeah, like she's saying, this time is when it's so hard to keep going strong because gets busier around this time. If you're working full time or if you're in school, like I learned a lot of my peers are in school or still working, and it's so hard to keep up and like to keep going strong during the last week of Ramadan. So we definitely just want to tell you guys that we're here, we're experiencing it with you guys.
Literally.
We're tired, we work full time. We were students when we were in school,
entrepreneurs on the
fasting.
side.
Like we resonate with being tired and the struggle of pushing through, but we got this, you got this.
So I know like, even in these last 10 days, we hear a lot that our du'as are so important, especially around the Qadr. Obviously, we don't know exactly when it is. So during this time is when people make all their du'as and like they're praying a lot more. They're doing a lot more like sunnah prayers and extra good deeds. And I know sometimes it can get overwhelming because you're like, okay, like I have all these du'as, like, and I have all these things that I want to accomplish. And so I think for me, there's, always like one like personal dua I know, and especially in everybody's life that kind of has like really transformed them and just like how they've experienced Ramadan or just life in general, or they've had a specific dua that has been answered that has completely transformed them. For me, I know I make this dua often, and even in the beginning of my journey in Islam and just going through a lot of like changes and like hardships and like really trying to fully embrace Islam. I make this dua often, and it's just like, Allah, please allow me to love what is pleasing to you and draw near to what is pleasing to you, and allow me to dislike the things that are displeasing to you. And I think that's probably one of the most powerful duas in my life, just because it's allowed me to, and a lot of people ask me all the time, like, how are you able to give up this? Or how are you able to adjust so quickly to wearing the hijab or like giving up this or that? And I think I accredit it so much to that specific dua that, Ya Allah, if it's not pleasing to you, don't even allow my heart to want to yearn for it. I know in this dunya, it's so easy for us to fall victim to loving these worldly things and like being attracted to all these things that bring us harm. But like that dua, I think for me personally has been like, okay, Ya Allah, allow my heart to like truly surrender to your will. So whatever it is that you think is good for me and that you love for me, allow me to love the exact same thing. Let me not even hesitate to be like, I love it too. This is exactly what I want for me. If it's that for me, then I personally, I want to have the ick. I don't even want to come near it. I don't even want to think about it. And so that's been one dua that has helped me just throughout my entire journey in Islam, and especially in Ramadan too, where obviously we're intentionally trying to give up some of these things, and we could still be tempted to go back to, and even thinking about ending of Ramadan and going back to some of those old habits and sins and things of that nature, allow me to stand firm in some of these habits that I've already built, and still loving to do these good deeds and these extra sunnahs and like all these things. And so if it's one dua that I recommend to adopt, it's that one.
I love that. Literally say the same dua, just different wording. I always pray, I say, Allah, please make it easy for me to do what is pleasing to you and make it hard for me to do what is displeasing.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing. She said something
Yeah.
like that. Just we're
If I gotta sin, let me struggle. Don't even make it easy for me to sin.
For real. And then piggybacking off of what you're saying, just purifying your intentions and staying firm in what's good for you, even post Ramadan. I would say I don't have a specific dua that's coming at the top of my head right now, but I would say, especially during these last 10 nights, we're definitely fasting, giving up food and water. But I think one thing that is best for me to keep in my mind and to stay God conscious is to fast like with my mouth and my not only my mouth, but with my eyes and my ears and like everything. Like, of course, everything that you're watching, like social media detox.
Yes.
Not watching stuff that you're not supposed to watch.
Watch this podcast.
Watch stuff. Listening to no music, like not only just fasting, but fasting with our hearts.
Yeah.
Like it's not like just not eating and drinking. Like,
Literally.
what are you talking about? Like not gossiping, like not participating in conversation. That has no benefit.
Huge one.
Like really, truly, like these last 10 nights, like if you have not already emphasizing and really being God conscious that you're fasting with your whole entire being, your body, what you're listening to, again, what you're talking about, who you surround yourself with, even when you're at work or when you're at school as well, it's okay to let people know, hey, I'm not. I'm like, listen, I'm locked in right now.
I'm quick to leave a comment. What?
It's okay to be very, very much selfish. And your worship. It's so important. It's okay to be super selfish with your worship that you don't have. People know you don't have time. You don't have time for leisure stuff that you would have probably have time for outside of Ramadan. So post Ramadan. So
and I think that's the beauty that I've always found in Islam overall, and especially even in Ramadan, is that of course anybody can, not saying that it's easy, but anybody can fast just from food and water and say they fasted, but
religions do.
Yeah, and they do. But even Allah says that, I don't know the specific wording, but even Allah says even the person who fasts from food and drink but can't hold their tongue, or just similar to what you were describing, your fast is not accepted if you still don't have the right practices of a fasting person. I think that's something a lot of people overlook. It's like, oh yeah, I fasted from food and drink, but you know, how's your heart? Is your heart truly being purified in this process? And how are your intentions throughout the day as well?
Yep, and make sure you have barakah in the way you spend your time, because there's not that much time. Well, there's 24 hours in a day, but again, when you are a student and you work like most people do, you don't have all day to worship.
And we're already in the last 10 days, if that tells you anything.
Like time management is going to be so key. So key, so important. So yeah, that's what I would say for sure.
100%.
That being said, we also wanted to recommend some things that we would like to share with you guys that can take into everyday practice and essentials that can be useful for you even after Ramadan. So one important one that I would recommend to everyone is a portable pocket prayer mat. Like this thing, like it can fit anywhere. Like you can put it in your purse, put it in your bag, and it has, the one I have has the what's it called again? The compass to show you which direction to pray, even though you can look it up on your phone. But yeah, this is small. Let me just open it and show you like how it looks. It's just like a regular plastic one, but it's foldable. It's just easy to pray on any surface as long as, you know, where you're praying is clean. You can lay this down, and I would like, you can take this with you anywhere. I think this is a really good essential for praying on the go. And then the next item I would recommend is this digital tasbih counter. And it's very similar to a traditional one, like the beaded one. But in case you don't want to carry this around everywhere, like I think this is definitely more practical for just on the go. You can leave this while you're driving. If you're in the gym, if you're walking, I think if you're being active, like you can literally just say your dhikr and like just press the counter. And I think these two are very, very good for like just worship on the go and making sure that you are getting your worship in when your day is busy. Yeah. What are some things you would recommend?
Yeah, no, and I really loved, and I think I have one too. I have a black one that I keep around. And one thing I would add to that too, one thing I've tried to adopt, just like in my day to day, is of course I know during the month of Ramadan, we all try and strive to be our best, especially with our Muslim women. I'm loving to seeing Muslim women, even the ones who maybe on the day-to-day aren't dressed the most modest or don't wear hijab. And throughout the month of Ramadan, Allah sees your intention, sees your heart, and sees your efforts. And I think something to keep in mind, even just after Ramadan as well, something that could help keep you on track, especially even with your prayers, is if I was walking out the house, could I pray in this? Or would I be able to pray in this wherever I am? Yes, I can have the pocket prayer mat and my tasbih, but how I'm carrying myself and how I'm going out into the world, is that something that I can walk into a mosque with? So just keep it in mind, like just little habits throughout the day, little things like that, kind of like just automatically strengthen your habits. I did want to recommend, so we talked a little bit, even in our previous episodes, on certain like books and just the importance of keeping, in touch with the Quran and reading and things of that nature. And I know it's so much easier during the month to actually read the Quran and be dedicated to it. I know most people strive to finish the entire Quran in the month, but the reality is that majority of the time we don't have that same opportunity and that same strive outside of Ramadan. But it's still very critical to stay in touch with just Islamic knowledge in general, continuing to like listen to lectures and read Islamic books and things of that nature. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend. I have these two books here by Yasmin Mujahid. She is awesome. We actually met her and I was able to buy.
Right? Like she personally signed.
She did, yes. I gotta find which one it was.
It's the Reclaim Your Heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the newer edition.
Yeah.
Yep. So I was able to get my hands on her two books. These books are amazing. I'm still working through them myself. And so the first model is Healing the Emptiness, and then also Reclaim Your Heart. And I think it's really important, even post Ramadan. I think a lot of people go through like that, like post Ramadan depression.
Yeah.
Where it's our hearts are like, dang, like we just had this fulfilling, peaceful month where we felt so alive. We felt so in touch with our spirituality and like with Allah. And then like Ramadan leaves, and sometimes we go through this crash where it's okay, I feel like my iman is at a decline and things of that nature. So really finding ways to replenish our hearts and just kind of like refuel that spirituality through like little daily actions, I think it's really important to help us even after Ramadan. So yeah.
Yes, and we definitely want you guys to comment down below. Share with us what you're doing these last 10 nights. Just recommendations of what you think will also be helpful, because as we said in the last episode, something that helps us may not help you, and what helps you could help somebody else.
Yeah.
So definitely share, comment down below some of your favorite resources as tools.
Yes, we're excited. So I know we are in the last 10 days. Eid is coming up. I know there's a lot of preparation and things going on. So just a quick reminder. Well, actually, I would love to plug in my sis real quick.
Oh, yeah, shop layers.
Yes, okay. Eid fits.
We got them abayas and them thobes and them hoodies for you.
Shop Layers, big CEO Awa here.
Yeah.
Support our girls. Support your local small businesses.
Yeah.
I know it can be distracting sometimes looking for clothes, but also a reminder that don't let that distract or take away from your worship during these very important last 10 days as well. But we're excited to see you all and hear all your stories as we finish off our Ramadan series.
Yes, finish off strong. You guys got this. Eid Mubarak. Assalamu alaikum.
Eid Mubarak. Assalamu alaikum.